Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is well. It's been a couple of weeks I think since I last published a video. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but at the moment I have some time away from work, so I have a bit more time to make some more videos, which I plan to do going forward in the next few weeks. Today I wanted to bring to my channel a book that I was given for Mother's Day, Pharaohs of the Sun, by Guy de la Bedoye. I think, and I hope I've pronounced his surname correctly. I'd also thought I'd bring along this ornament that I have. It's a sphinx, absolutely perfect given the name of my channel, as you can see. There's his face. If I tilt it up there like that, there we go, get it into shot. He's black with obviously the white. I think this is basalt. I'm not entirely sure what it is made of. On the back here it says 2013 Summit. I'm not quite sure. However, I did not get this in Egypt. I have a number of ornaments relating to ancient Egypt. I thought he'll sit here with me while I make my videos now. I haven't been to Egypt, although I would love desperately to go. I've found most of mine either in sort of esoteric occult type shops in the UK or online, namely Etsy UK, which I find is really helpful for finding such things, particularly secondhand. And as a consequence, I haven't been to Egypt. This I would imagine was probably made as a souvenir at some point, and then it's obviously come over to the UK. I know in Egypt they do make a lot of models and statues for souvenirs, understandably so, when you visit ancient Egypt. But as I say, I bought him in the UK. I actually bought him, or her, who knows, in Glastonbury. And as I say, it's sort of an esoteric occult shop, of which there are a number in Glastonbury. If you know the sort of history of Glastonbury, you'll know why. As I say, I've also bought a number of statues off Etsy as well, some of which are secondhand and some of which have probably been bought originally as holiday souvenirs, and then obviously people want to get rid of them, so they put them up for sale. I haven't bought any in a long time, mainly because I've had no need to, and also because the last couple of years we've been renovating our house, a lot of things have been packed up, only recently starting to unpack to then obviously put them out on display again. So I might obtain some more. All my statues about ancient Egypt are black. Some have gold on them as well. I find that I feel it's kind of fitting for ancient Egypt. And by the statues, I mean I have a pharaoh's head. I have several statues of Bast, the cat goddess. I also have Horus, Isis, and Sekhmet. I think I'll do another video on all of them to show everyone my statues. I also have a really lovely decorative plate. I don't know exactly what the scene is showing me, so perhaps if I do a video with that, somebody may be able to tell me. I need to do more research on that. So at some point very soon in my living room, all these statues will be up on display again, which will make me very happy to have them out on display again. So again, going back to being frugal and learning about ancient Egypt, there are lots of these statues and ornaments that you can find secondhand online. I've also seen statues and souvenirs. They're usually what people have brought back from Egypt as a souvenir, but they're equally, a lot of them are very good condition or very decently well made, that you could use if you wanted to have some sort of display area for ancient Egypt. There's as I say, decorative plates, pictures, prints, there's all manner of things, and you can certainly find them secondhand or at a reasonable price. And it's quite nice, I think, if you are studying a particular period. I've noticed that a lot of people will do this. They'll have either a shelf or some sort of display cabinet or something where, whatever historical period they're interested in, they may have different items and ornaments of that period on show. It's also part of the learning as well. I think that learning about the Sphinx. I could definitely go into a whole video about that, if not more than one video about the Sphinx. But anyway, I think given the channel name, he could be our little mascot. I'm saying he, but I don't honestly know for sure. But he looks masculine to me, so we'll say he. So, getting back to the book, Pharaohs of the Sun. My son bought me this for Mother's Day. I had never heard of Guy de la Bedoye before. And it looks like, doing some research on him, that he is a historian. He's written a number of books about the Roman Empire. I think that seems to be where most of his interest lies, but he's written quite a considerable number of books. And it's obviously, as it's got on the front here, it's the BBC Radio 4 Book of the Week, which BBC Radio 4, for those that don't know, will have a book of the week every week, a different book every week. So it's obviously been quite high profile. It's published by Abacus Books. As you can see, it is quite a reasonably thick book there. So that's sort of there. What's that? Good inch and a half maybe. There is an audiobook available. And it's relating to the 18th dynasty, and pharaohs were called, these particular pharaohs were called Pharaohs of the Sun. And for those that don't know, we are talking about the period of time where famously we had Tutankhamun, we also had Akhenaten, Nefertiti. We're talking about that particular dynasty. And as I say, I'll show you again there. It's quite a considerably thick book. I wasn't expecting this book, but I do find this particular period in ancient Egypt really interesting. I've read another book, I've done a book review before, written by Colin and John Darnell, around Akhenaten and Nefertiti, the Golden Couple. I am very much interested in Tutankhamun, and I know he is probably the most widely known pharaoh throughout ancient Egypt, but I do find this period really interesting. This is a period where we shift from multiple gods to worshipping the sun god, Aten, and Akhenaten proclaiming himself to be one god, and things. There was a lot of change during this time in ancient Egypt. So it is one of the most well-known periods and one of the most interesting periods, I think. So it's quite, as I say, the font, if people can see the font, I'll try and bring this up to the camera. It's quite small font. We also have two sections with some photos in, black and white photos with descriptions. And then we have another lot here as well. The very famous bust of Nefertiti. I have started reading this book. I think I'm about 3 chapters into it. So at the start of the book, what also I like so far about this book, I will do an overall review. We have here all the books that Guy de la Bedoye has written. It's quite considerable history. We have maps at the front, which is interesting. It also has, looking through the index here, but it also has quite a considerable resource section at the back. We have abbreviations, we have further reading. He's also listed his notes. There is also a list of useful websites. So it's one of those books that I feel is, we also have different names and how potentially to pronounce them, the different words, glossary, explanations of different people and places, and a timeline as well. It's one of those books, it's not totally necessarily an academic research book, but it's more than just a light read. So I say I'm 3 chapters in. I'm enjoying it. It's very well written, in my opinion, so far, and it flows along and sort of motors along very well. I've not got to the point where I'm giving up because I don't understand something, which sometimes books can be like that, and it does put you off. So that's my latest read, Pharaohs of the Sun. When I have completely finished it, I will do a review on the book. as I say, a chunk of this book is actually, there's 17 chapters, I think, but a chunk of this book is actually, we look here, we have this much here, which is just all the resources, the index, etc. So yeah, there's a lot there, and there's a lot that you could use as reference points for jumping off points to research further. So that's my latest book. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I found this in my bookcase. I'd actually made this from a kit. I think they call it a traveller's notebook. But I was thinking about what have I got to use for making my own notes. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, for learning, I find that actually making notes as I'm reading, it helps me with the learning process. As I say, I think this is called a traveller's notebook. I bought it as a kit, just really to give it a go. It is a bit dusty, and I apologise for that. Inside we have 4 lined pads, as you can see, and I don't know whether I'll be able to replace these. I'm sure I will be able to. Lined pads, a lot there. So I thought I was looking for a notebook that I could use, and found this, reminded myself that I had this, and I thought this is what I will use. It's not too heavy, quite light. It could fit in a reasonably sized, in a relatively small handbag or bag, to take with me whenever I'm out and about, if I see something of interest. So I just wanted to touch on that actually you don't need a lot when it comes to studying. Pen and paper, or even if you want to use notes on your phone or your tablet or your computer, laptop, whatever you've got, use what you already have. As I say, I had this already. I haven't gone out. I've got pens. I haven't gone out and purchased anything. So this will be my kind of notebook. And for me, making notes helps with my learning as well. I will probably also maybe stick pictures in, relevant pictures and articles or anything I find that's of use, from magazines or journals that I come across, will probably be in there as well. So it's kind of a working, I want to say living, but that's really the wrong word, but a working, useful study aid, rather than just a pack of notes that then you never refer back to. So that was what I wanted to show also in my video today, to try and just highlight again that you don't need to spend loads of money buying loads of fancy stationery to study. There's lots of ways to do it where it doesn't cost you a thing. And so we'll go forward from there. So I hope people found that interesting. Definitely I will come back with a full book review once the book Pharaohs of the Sun has been read. I think this was Book of the Week in Radio 4's Book of the Week back in December. So it may well be possible that via the Radio 4's podcast and playback, you can obviously find the show, the Book of the Week show, where they talked about the book and discussed it, which they normally do with every book when it's the start of the Book of the Week, for the start of the week. So I may well have a listen to that and see what that is saying about this book, and if they've interviewed the author as well, potentially. So I may well check out further works of his. So for now, I will say goodbye. I hope people have found that interesting. I will be continuing reading this book. And yeah, it's been enjoyable so far. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.